Sometimes, when you grow up in a big family and food is the focal activity of that family, you run into weight management problems. Well, that's exactly what happened to today's guest, Teri Donelson. But hang on. This episode is not just about weight management. It is about a woman taking control of her concern, going to a gym, and changing the life, the business structure, the business trajectory of the gym owner. Teri Donelson not only lost massive amount of weight and looks fabulous, but the gym owner, he has gone on to create videos that have enlarged his influence. He travels and he teaches. He's in demand concerning weight control and exercise. Fascinating story. Hang on. You don't want to miss a moment. Hello, everyone. Well, you know, I'm almost speechless from the very beginning of this conversation. No, you're not going to hear any ad reads from me at all. We are going to jump into the meat of a conversation with a very accomplished and amazing woman. I'm here with Teri Donelson. And when you hear her story, when you hear from pivoting to purpose, she is one of the speakers and one of the co-hosts for the Level Up Summit, which is taking place March the 25th through the 27th. But you're going to hear a lot more from this woman if you haven't already. So let me shut up and open up the door for Teri. Teri, thank you for being here. This is amazing. I'm shaking already.
Thank you, Margot, for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, if you go ahead and take it on back to how you lived in this little, may I say, one-horse town in Texas and the expectations of your family and bring it on up to where we are today, people are going to be holding on to their seats and they are going to wonder, how do I get in contact with this lady? So go ahead and let's start out with your dynamic story.
Okay, thank you so much for having me once again. It's such an honor to be here. I am Teri Donelson, and I am from a little small town called New Waverly, Texas. It is population 920 something, depending on who was born or who passed away, I like to say, because it has not changed in that many years since I was raised there. But I am one of 8. My mom had 8 children, and she was a single parent. So we were definitely very much a poor family. My mom, even though she was very poor financially, she instilled in us a sense of pride and accomplishments. But one thing about living in a small town, I don't know if you're familiar with these small towns, is it's kind of set what you're going to do, right? You're going to either go ahead, get married and have some kids, and then you're going to just stay and work at the corner store in the country town. Or if you are planning on leaving, you're going to go and you're going to get on a job and you're going to stay there and you're going to retire from that one job. Entrepreneurship really wasn't the thing when talking to kids in small towns. So my mom, she knew that we could do better. And she tried to instill that in us. So I left. I was the first one. I'm third, but I was the first one to leave and leave the nest and go to college away from home. I have to say that I did mention I was in a poor family. So we love to show our emotions with food. Right? We didn't have much money. So everything we did revolved around food. Whether or not someone got in a fight, you lost the fight, you get a biscuit. Somebody got married, we celebrate with biscuits. So the trend is there. We love to eat. So my family was very much overweight. So fast forward, I went to college, experienced that. I was always heavy. And I'm 5'3". You can't really tell on here, but I'm a short little mama. And I was always about 190 pounds or something like that. I was what, thick. We have all these different words for being overweight. So I was thick, I was plump. I like to say fluffy. I don't like the other fat word, the other F word. I like fluffy. So I was always like that. I never really thought too much about it. So went on. My family, we didn't have diabetes, we didn't have high blood pressure. We was just overweight. And that's not the norm, but because in the South, we tend to eat, a little better than fast food. We didn't have fast food, so we did cook. So we were healthy in that aspect. But as I graduated and I moved to Ohio, my mom became, first her body started to fail her. It was hard for her to walk because she was a very tall lady. She was 5'11" and very much heavy set, the pear shape, all that good stuff. But she was heavy, and eventually it was hard for her to walk. Her knees and stuff started the cartilage deteriorated from carrying that much weight. So I started seeing that with my mom. And when I moved to Ohio, I got married. And so if y'all know anything about that love weight, I gained about, I don't know, 20 pounds or so. So then I was over the 200 mark, right? Then I had my first baby and I was bigger because I was in love and I was working. I was a parent, I was a wife. Then I had my second, and Lord have mercy, I was almost 300 pounds on a 5'3" frame. And during that time, I was watching my mom deteriorate and the consequences of her carrying that weight. So then she started having illness that we couldn't explain of how she was getting it. And only thing that we can contribute to was her making the bad choices and just carrying a lot of unhealthy weight on her, right? So at that time, I decided that I didn't want that same thing for my kids. I wanted to be able to run around with my girls. I watched my mom cry because she couldn't walk my brother down the aisle when he was homecoming king. I had to walk him. And that hurt her so much that she couldn't do that. And I just didn't want that for my girls. So I made a decision that I had to lose the weight for them. That's how I started. It was for them. I wanted to lose the weight. So I did. At that time, I was working in stress. I was working in a nonprofit field. I was in a high level. I had graduated from college, and I was working as a director of operations for a nonprofit organization, which was very stressful. Mm-hmm. And then I lost my job with my second child. Lost my job. I was doing great financially. I bought my first home, which was big for my family. And I lost my job that second year doing work in a field, right? After I lost my job, we lost our home. Things became real rocky with my mom. Eventually my husband started being rocky because the financial burdens and just all kind of issues happened there. And I got to a point where I was like, how did this all go bad so quickly? Mm-hmm. And so I decided just to focus on my health. I couldn't change anything else. I couldn't change what was going on with my mom. I couldn't change what was going on in the world of finances and me losing my job. I couldn't change things that were going on with my husband and his situations. And so I focused on my health for my girls. Mm-hmm. And at that time, I started going to the gym. I started losing weight on my own. I got a nutritionist, started eating right, started going to the YMCA, just walking. And what I found was I was surrounded by women who really wanted to get healthy. I'd never been around that. And so I did. I was eating right and just walking. Mm-hmm. And I lost, about 50 pounds on my own.
On your own, 50 pounds, eating right, clean eating, and walking.
Yep, wow. Yep. And started just really focusing on that health aspect and really understanding food. Because in a small town, we really didn't have a great relationship with food. We were very much emotional eaters. We were clean your plate people. You do not leave food on your plate. So my mindset was so messed up in my relationship with food. So I constantly have to deal with that. Mm-hmm. And I deal with that with small tricks, like and so this is just kind of off the storyline, but I would just have smaller plates because in my mind, I'm still that poor little kid, and I'm not letting food go to waste. So instead of me having a plate, big old plate with food, I'll just have a small plate. And if I'm really hungry, I'll go back and get some more. But more than likely, my laziness outweighs me wanting to go get some food. So I just sit there. I'm like, oh, I'm not really that hungry. So those type of things, relationship wise with food, is so very important when you're trying to navigate on this journey of healthy living. I don't like to say weight loss because it's really not about the weight. It's really about being healthy. Mm-hmm. So that's another part of my story.
But you got your relationship together with food, which is a big problem for a lot of people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it stems from so many different things. Like I said, mine is from being a part of a big family, but some people could have scarcity relationships where they didn't get enough food. So they hoard food, or the image that society gives on us about how women should look or how men should look. There's so many different mindset things that we have to break before we can truly become healthy. That's why I like to tell people, don't look at it as weight loss. If you're putting the right things in your body, you're moving your body correctly, your body will respond in a positive way. You don't have to starve yourself. That's not going to work. Overeating, everything in limitation. So you have to have a good relationship mentally before you can even start the process of your body changing. So like stress can keep you from losing weight. That's all mindset type stuff. So relationship with food is very important, but your mindset has to be right.
I knew this was going to be good. I just knew it. I broke in there and I didn't want to, but I just had to say something because okay. I mean, so many
Stop
people.
Me whenever.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So things are kind of coming to a shambles. But you've been walking, eating right, and lost 50 pounds. Take us from that point.
Okay. So after I did that, I started, people say, you should really start working out and lifting weights, right? So I met this fella who was a gym owner. And he was just a gym owner. He was popular in Cleveland. I'm not from Ohio, so he wasn't that popular to me. But he was a popular guy. And I went to his gym and he really just pushed me out of my comfort zone. I was an athlete, but lifting weights and I don't know if y'all heard the stereotype that I don't want to look like a man. I don't want to lift weights because I don't want to look like a dude. Yeah. So not true. So not true. That's why I said women, we deal with so much because we're led to believe so many different false ideas of health and beauty and things like that. So I started working with this guy. I started lifting weights, loved it. My body did not change. It actually got better. I didn't become muscle bound because I didn't have enough testosterone. So I didn't become this big muscle person, but I kept my curves. I love my curves. I'm from the country. We like curves. So I wanted to just be healthy. And what I didn't realize is that lifting weight burns so many more calories than actually cardio does. Right. So if you lift weights for an hour and you do cardio for an hour, the amount of time that your body spends to keep burning that fuel after lifting weights is way longer. You continue to burn calories like 8 hours after you lift weights, whereas only like maybe a few hours after cardio. So lifting weight actually, and it helps with bone density. It helps with your bone structure. So lifting weights, so I just loved it. I loved the way my body felt. And so him doing that, we kind of got to start getting to know each other. And he was starting this new exercise trend. Now, I know you're probably familiar with step aerobics, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, retro step aerobics. Well, he started bringing it back with hip hop, calling new moves, and it became real popular at our gym, right? So he started putting it on like Instagram and Facebook, and then it kind of went viral, right? People all over the world started noticing him. So he was very much small. I don't want to leave my gym. If they want to come to class, they can come to class. And I'm like, It is something about you, Phil. You got me doing stuff. It is something about you that the world needs. Now, this time I was working in, I wasn't working with nonprofit. I left it alone. It was stressful. And I thought that was God telling me that I need to move. So then I started working with my friend because I have a master's in nonprofit management. So I started working with my friend, helping her to build her childcare center.
Wow.
Loved it. It was opportunity for me to be with my girls. They was going to the child care center so I could be with them. So I loved it. Was it what I wanted to do? No, but it was good for the time. So I was like, you really need to do this, Phil. So I didn't know yet that God was pulling me, right? I did not know yet that he had already laid the foundation. So as I'm pushing him, telling him, you got something more in you. I could see it so clearly. I could see him doing his classes on big stages. I could see him doing deep. I could see all this stuff so clearly. He was like, no, I'm not doing it. That's my impersonation of his voice. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stay right here. And I'm like, well, so I'm the type of person, I'm just going to plant the seed for you. So I'm like, okay, well, I will set your YouTube page up. Let's just start small. So I set his YouTube page up. It went crazy. He was getting people from other countries logging in and trying to take his class. So eventually I said, Phil, you're too big for this. This is not your purpose. Your purpose is bigger than this, right? So he was all like, I don't know, T. I don't know. So eventually we started to travel. Just something small on the weekends, having fun, going to Michigan because we were in Ohio, going to Michigan, maybe going to Texas because it was my hometown. We're doing very small stuff. We were going people were seeking him out. When it's your purpose, you don't have to do much work. When it's your true assignment, you don't have to do much work. It will come to you. God has already have laid the foundation. So if you put yourself out there, you open yourself up for what is supposed to come, it comes easily. So once we started moving, next thing you know, we started doing DVDs. And I said, Phil, you really need to, you're bigger. Let's go bigger. Yes. We need instructors. I'm looking at these other programs. You need to have instructors doing your program. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, T. I said, okay. So I kept planting the seed. I prepared the certification. While he was thinking about it, I already knew what to do. So I had started already crafting his whole entire program. And so when he said, you know what, T, I think we do. And I was like, for real, that's a good idea. Let's do it. He was like, how you get this together already? I had already worked on it. The foundation. I knew and I didn't, but at that time, God had given me my purpose. I can see people's vision. Once they are talking to me, I can pull that out of you. Once we get past your mindset, because a lot of times people say, I don't know what my purpose is, Teri. I don't know what it is. And so we go back and we do some digging, right? So that's what I talk about in the Level Up conference. We do some digging because even if I give you good stuff, Phil wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. And it's just like, I'm a country girl, right? So it's just like when you're planting seeds, you can't plant those seeds until you start digging those weeds out. You got to till that soil. You got to get that stuff softened before any seeds have any chance. So until we can get to your true purpose, we got to see what's blocking you from moving, what's hindering you. With me, I had my expectations of other people. For me, I didn't think I was at this age, I could do it. I could start a speaking career and coaching career after 40. Say that. I had those things. So we all have things that stop us from living in our true purpose. If you're not living in it, it's mostly because, in my opinion, we get very comfortable in very uncomfortable assignments, right? So you have a baby and you have to make money to support your kid. So you go ahead and you get that job and then you become good at it and you become the manager and you become the district manager. And now you're over a whole store, but it still wasn't your assignment. That is not what you were meant to do. So you're not going to be completely fulfilled because that's not your assignment. So until you really, truly understand your assignment, you really can't live a purposeful, fulfilled life. So that's kind of what I work with people. So in 2020, just like everybody else, in 2019, everybody prayed for that 2020 vision. We all pray for it,
Yeah.
right? Everybody
Yeah.
was like, Lord, 2020 vision, we're going to do it up in 2020. So God said, bet, I got y'all. I'm going to sit everybody down
Yeah.
because y'all moving too fast. Y'all doing stuff that's not your assignment. You're doing all these things that I have not put you on this earth for. So he set us all down. And that's when he got to me. I was working with Phil just him for 8 years almost.
Wow.
And people would ask me, Teri, can you please help me? Help me do what you did for him. And I'm like, no, I don't have time for that. Mm-hmm. Teri, can you come speak to us about it? I'm like, I'm not a speaker. I can't do that. God set me down and said, no, it's time. It's time for you. Not only is it time for you to start helping people realize their purpose, but I'm going to do even deeper, Teri. You're supposed to be helping women.
Yes.
You're supposed to help women because in this health, wellness, and fitness industry, 95% of the demographic are women. But can you name really successful women in the industry at the top?
Not really.
There's not many. There's not enough. You got the Billy Blanks, you got the Sean T's, you got Richard Simmons. You can name some men, but to really think about women who are on the top, and then I'm gonna go even deeper. They're not us.
No.
So my mission is I've had some failures in this industry, and I know the roadmap to get you to be successful. So I really want to help women to realize that they can be successful. They can be successful not only in the wellness, fitness, and health industry, but also in life. You can because in my journey, I got down to 130 pounds, which looks different on everybody. Yeah. My 130, I had no curves. I was very unhealthy. I was eating about 900 calories and burning about 4,000. So basically, I was starving myself. I got to a point where I was trying to become something that I wasn't. Mm-hmm. So when I say you have to be healthy mentally, that's first. You have to understand what is healthy for you, not what's healthy for society.
And Teri, when people, you are just giving us so much inspiration and hands-on how-to information, but I want you to step it back to Phil, because while you were helping Phil through those 8 years, your own process, you were finding your own way. Will you first tell us the end result of Phil being in your presence, following your lead, how good you are at helping people position themselves in their purpose? Tell us first, how did Phil end up? And then tell people the name of your company, the business that you are operating now, please.
Okay. So Phil is still thriving. He is one of the leading, he has one of, I say we because we are a partnership, but we have the leading brand right now in the fitness industry. It's called Extreme Hip Hop with Phil. It's $1 million company. 2 other major fitness companies tried to take it from him and tried to tell him that he could not do it without the backing of someone. And we proved them wrong. So right now we have started just me and him. We have a staff of 11. We are steady expanding. We have over 2,200 instructors worldwide. So we have instructors teaching this format in Korea. We have people in Africa. We have people in Japan, Australia, New Zealand, everywhere. Over 2,200, and not to mention domestically, instructors worldwide. We have 7 DVDs that do the step aerobics as well as cardio, weights, things of that nature. We have a clothing line, so thriving business, and he's just getting started. I just had to tell him, look, you need to start thinking about sitting down somewhere to line these instructors because you ain't no spring chicken. But he's like, I'm still, traveling. We're actually, we're completely booked traveling right now until November, right now. And so definitely have taken him from a mindset of scarcity to prosperity. He knows his vision is bigger. He knows his purpose is bigger. And Phil was someone who had to deal with a lot of different issues. He speak about his attempts at suicide. He's an introvert, and how fitness has really helped and shaped his life. So I believe being around people, and that's how life is. When you're on a journey to try to find your purpose, you collide with somebody trying to find their purpose. Watch out when God brings things together. So in all that process of me learning the business, of me really realizing, Teri, girl, you bad at trying to at talking to people and figuring out their purpose. Because even though I wasn't a coach charging people, every time I would come next to someone who would tell me what's going on, I'm always like, what are you doing with that? How are you moving that forward? You're good at that. Why are you sitting on your gift? Why are you even doing that job? That's not what God has for you. So I always try to sow into people when I see it. So it never was, I tell people all the time, your purpose is not what you do, it's who you are. And I've been a coach, I've been a motivator, I've been an encourager, I've been a strategic planner all my life. I just never packaged that thing up, right?
But
So
now it's
that's what I
packaged
did.
up. Now it's
It's all
packaged up.
packaged up. It
Where are
is
people
called
gonna find you? Come on, let's
it's
give it to us.
Purpose Chasing Academy. In Purpose Chasing Academy, we help women to that lack confidence and lack a roadmap. We help them to find their confidence, because that's number one. It's that mindset. We help them find their confidence, and then we give them that roadmap. We give them a 5-step formula to help them break down everything they need to break down, that mental block, and then give them a roadmap to be successful. And like I said, not just in the wellness, fitness, and health industry, but in life, especially when it comes to physical, because I've been there. And so I came up with the name Purpose Chasing Academy because I know a little something about chasing that paper, right? Yeah. We chase the paper all the time. And if you start chasing that paper, it is a cycle, a steady trying to get the paper. So I tell people, if you would focus on your purpose, your true assignment, you don't have to worry about the paper. He gives us gifts. He's giving it to you. Of course, he's going to make sure that you're going to live in abundance when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Because if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, it's all going to lead to the kingdom anyways. So we are all part of this big puzzle. So until I do my piece, Margot, you do your piece, you out there do your piece, somebody can't do their piece, because we're all part of this big puzzle. So you have to live in your purpose. You have to know your assignment first. So that's what we do. You can find me on any social media platforms at Teri Speaks. Now, like I was telling Margot, it looks like Teri. It does. It looks like Teri. My mom was trying to be a little fancy, so she put an X on the I. But when you go look for me, it's Teri Speaks. And that's on IG, Facebook, TikTok. I like doing a little TikTok every now and then. YouTube. So make sure you connect with me. I would love to help push you to your purpose. Some people call me the purpose pusher. Some people gave me that name. So I would love to do that.
But you know what, Teri? We need pushing. We need accountability, because that old mindset will have us slipping back into something that is very toxic. So, Teri, we need you. The world needs you. And I so love how you say that we all bring a piece together. Somebody's waiting for us. And I'm looking at the time. We're going to have to wrap this up. But will you please speak to the fact that, once again, dig it a little bit deeper, how we can't move forward if so-and-so is sitting on the sideline and they're supposed to be on the front line, and somebody's just kind of stuck now, because they need to hear from you. They'll receive it from your tone. They'll receive it from your insight. They'll receive it from the download that God gives them for you. They will receive it from you when 1,000 other people could be speaking, but they need it from you. Will you speak to that before we close out?
Absolutely. I like to tell people your testimony is really not for you. You go through things so that you can tell the story, that you can make it through. I'm a small country girl from Texas, New Waverly, Texas, 300 pounds. It really does not matter where you come from, your background, but you have to find your purpose, right? If I didn't find my purpose, Phil would not be touching millions of lives every single day. There are women right now who are off medication. They are they're more healthy than they have added years to their life because I lived in my purpose and pushed him into his purpose. And his purpose actually pushed me back into my purpose. So we're always waiting on that person to live in their purpose so that they can get pushed. If we didn't have the Margos in the world, how could your story get out so that whoever is listening, this speech is not going to hit everybody? Because like I said, everybody's soil is not ready for the seeds. So if Margot did not have this platform right now, because it's hitting you right now, you like, oh my God, I don't know who this girl is, but everything she's saying is what I need to hear. If this platform was not created, I couldn't reach you. I couldn't get to you. So the same thing with you. You have to, even if it is being a bus driver, if that is your purpose, then if you wasn't there, how would somebody get to their job every single day so they can make a difference in somebody else's life? We all are part of this great big design. But until you realize that you are needed, you are worthy, and you are capable, we're going to miss out on that. The world is going to miss out. So you have to figure out your purpose. And then once you figure it out, you got to stay dope. I like to say dope. That's being disciplined over pleasures every day. You got to be consistent with your goals. You have to stay in that thing. Now you maybe got to get up and reevaluate some stuff, but you got to be disciplined in your goals. You got to want it and you got to be hungry for it. Yes. So you have to know your purpose, and then you have to stay dope and get in there and make sure that you live it so that the person who's waiting on you to live it can start living theirs.
I love it. Stay dope. That doesn't mean sell cars by day and shampoo by night. Stay dope, consistent with where you're going. And you know what, Teri, as you were speaking, the only other thought that came to my mind, and you said it earlier, age doesn't matter. If you're 60 and you find your purpose, get into that. Invest in yourself and get into that. Is that what I hear you say?
Absolutely. Let me tell you something, Margot. I don't know if I would have been ready at 20 to start coaching and teaching. I didn't have the life experience. I hadn't been through, like your mama say, live long enough. You understand? I hadn't lived long enough. So sometimes it's okay. It's just when you start hearing that, when you start getting really uncomfortable and you know you're supposed to move, it's time for your purpose to start living. He'll give you that push, but you got to stay connected to the source so that you can get that answer. And when you're ready, he will reveal your purpose to you. So if that's what you want, you don't know what it is, start praying now. Be very detailed. Like, Lord, I know I'm supposed to be doing something more. I'm very uncomfortable in this job. I'm good at it, Lord. I'm making a lot of money, Lord, but it's something missing. And I don't care if you are 40, 60, 20, when it's your time to start living your purpose, start. Stop waiting. Time is of the essence. And that's one thing we cannot get back. It's time. So once you realize what your purpose is, move.
I love it. I love it. Teri Donelson, Purpose Chasing Academy, one of the co-hosts and speakers at Level Up Summit. For those of you who hear this episode after the summit, which takes place March the 25th through the 27th, I'm sure that if you connect with Kern Crockett Cherry, you'll get a chance to get that replay. But in the meantime, this lady is bad to the bone, and she is worth you seeking out. So I want to thank you. I've learned so much. You have enlarged our territory, most certainly.
Thank you.
Well, I'm Margot Levette, and it's been my pleasure to be here and have this conversation with this awesome, awesome lady. So check her out. Be sure to follow her because you'll want to be in her presence, most certain. And I'm Margot Levette. I'll be back with another episode later. Until next time, bye-bye now. I want to thank you for listening to Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Couple of things that I want you to do right now. Go to my website, pick up a copy of Her Business, Her Voice, Her Reinvention, how I went from game show hopping to international show host, author, and speaker in 1 year. Number 2, please freely listen to each and every episode. Share them out with your family, friends, the men in your lives. And then number 3, get in contact with me, one of the experts that have been on the show, because I want to make sure that you reinvent yourself. I'll be back next week with a brand new episode. here on Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation.